All right. We have a very special guest, Andrew Pomponio, today. And we also have a surprise appearance for me, Donnie Ozone. I had in my head ready to announce, that Donnie was going on hiatus, but we can let Donnie. I mean, maybe that's all that needs to be said. You're gonna take a break for a little while. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a break, but I'll be back for the nominee shows and the winner shows, and then next year is up in the air, depending on what's happening with me at the time. We'll see if I have time or not, but we're gonna at least do the winner nominee shows probably every year. So
yeah, and one thing that we'll see how it goes as far as views. I'm gonna keep it going as long as we're like increasing viewership.
Right.
But I have my suspicion is there'll probably be a break, like December. We'll probably break it or something, and that we will take a season break. I don't even know if we talked about that here, but our plan was we're gonna, after we did announce the winners for the 2024 Creative Commons Community Music Awards, we were gonna take a break until after the U.S. Labor Day. And that way we can kind of like tighten things a bit and really focus on the awards. And of course, Donnie and I are both judges, so we got some work to do on there. Also, Donnie, I spent too much time talking last week, and I'm doing it again already this week. But I saw that your Give Thanks video has like 6,500 views. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's doing well. I mean, yeah, I'm thankful for that. I have much gratitude. So thanks for everyone for checking it out. And I really like the animation on there. The artist that did the animation, I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that makes me. I'm psyched about that.
Spoiler alert! I was gonna play that at the end because I don't really have a Thanksgiving
perfect
show planned. So have you seen this video, Andrew, by Donnie? Let's kick it off and let's watch this video in case we played it before, but like I said, I was already planning on playing it, so we should just let's rock it. Here's
cool.
Here's Give Thanks by the one and only Donnie Ozone.
Down and out. Meanwhile, I feel so good, I wanna scream and shout. I really don't have time for doubt. Ever since I've been convinced all things are working out. Like that time I tried to write a rap, and then I wrote a fat stack. Like, look at that. It's been a while now, so I'm looking back. 34 years later, and I'm still on track. I love how life is so effortless. Like how I always end up with the best there is. Like how my good luck always helps me get my wish. Like how I manifesting blessings from these sentences. My pint glass is always half full, although I'm half a fool, my other half is magical. Like how I always end up with the best prize, and you'll believe it when you see it with your
right. So now everybody knows what we're talking about. So
All right.
That
yeah.
was great. That was a great one, dude.
Nice. Thanks.
I liked that.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. So just so everybody we get, we're on the same page here. So Andrew and I we used to work together, and back when this was in a drop-in thing, I talked to him a few times about stopping by, and it never really worked out. And so finally I was like, dude, like I don't know a whole lot about your music. I know you do some DJ stuff. Let's just hop on and let's talk about it. And so today we're making that happen. So I see that you've done I don't know what these things are. So you got on your heart this you've got like Saturday night sessions, classical Mondays, but it seems like maybe those are all things that were happening in the past. It seems like maybe you're done with that, or maybe you're just not uploading those, or what's going on with all those?
Sure. So a lot of those shows were taking place when COVID first hit. The DJ community, and as far as like the underground dance scene, really kind of came together on Twitch. And so I was doing a lot of live streaming on Twitch and then taking the recordings and basically putting them up on Hear This At, which is a site that I believe is similar to SoundCloud. SoundCloud lets you actually use the Creative Commons license to publish stuff. One of the examples I sent you was a bootleg that my friend had done recently. And you would also probably, if you were going to upload to SoundCloud the same type of shows that I was doing, they would be uploaded under the Creative Commons license. Because a lot of the times when you do these shows, where you get your tracks from can vary in a lot of different ways. The most common way is to use a site called Beatport, which is a music distributor site that allows you to do pretty much the old-fashioned model of buy a track for a flat rate and then you own it. But increasingly, there's a lot of people who do like unofficial bootlegs and unofficial remixes and stuff like that. With those sorts of tracks, DJs still want them and producers still want them to be distributed, but they don't want to get in trouble for them. So they'll put them under the Creative Commons license frequently. And as a result, that's basically their legal loophole as far as putting out stuff and having it be, considered this is art as opposed to, I'm trying to make money off of this and,
right.
Just handed out, as a piece of art. So basically my shows would definitely fall under that Creative Commons. And I haven't really been doing shows as much because things have gotten back to the flow of a lot more people going to in-person shows. And with the return of that, the Twitch community kind of died down a little bit, but it's still around. Like my roommate, who you saw in the background just a moment ago, he's actually a really big presence on Twitch. He, as far as Denver DJs go, he DJs, a lot on Twitch and still maintains a pretty active presence. And additionally to that, he'll take a lot of his mixes and release them as well on Hear This At. He's got a big Hear This At page as well. So
okay.
That's kind of what a lot of DJs do is they'll use this Creative Commons license to do their mixtapes. And that's a form of promotion so that they can, get what they're capable of doing out into the public. And then promoters can pick up on that and say, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. I should book him for my next show.
Right.
And my cat's in here waiting to be fed. I don't know why he's been put in here so early, but he's like banging on the door.
I feel like some bands do that as well. Rock bands will, even if they're all rights reserved, I feel like maybe they'll put up their show under Creative Commons license as well as a way to spread it, to promote it. Or maybe whoever recorded the show, maybe the venue, or like someone like WFMU, they would put it up under Creative Commons because that's just their standard way they do it or whatever. their
Yeah.
philosophy.
Does WFMU have a place where they do that anymore? Or are they?
I don't know these days. We all know they used to be FMA, repping FMA, Free Music Archive, but now there's still a curator on there, so they may still post their shows there, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't checked up on that lately, but I definitely used to check in all the time, catch up on like the live performances, and they would always put them under Creative Commons, even if the band was all rights reserved for everything else. So.
Yeah, and
I can see why DJs would do that as well. Yeah,
it's a weird space. I mean, the whole live performance thing, because you still have to deal with the Nicholas and I were talking about this last week too, actually. You still have the written music, which the license on that is not being changed. So it's like, really, I think probably the thing to do would be to use a no derivatives license. If you wanted to use Creative Commons to sort of signal like, hey, this is not mine, I'm not claiming the rights, because you really can't do the derivatives. But the DJ thing is interesting too, because if you're performing live at a venue, they're probably paying for the the royalties, the venue fees. And like the internet DJing is sort of YouTube takes care of some of that. It's kind of the wild west. I don't know if does Twitch have a content ID thing like YouTube does, or is it?
Yeah, it does have a track analysis. So a lot of times videos on demand of my shows will get taken down or muted. Fun fact, Armin van Buren, who's one of the most famous DJs in the world, he actually passed the bar in Holland before becoming an international sensation. And Armada Music, the label, is notoriously aggressive about taking stuff down on SoundCloud and other sites like Twitch and things like that. They, even if you can prove that you went to Beatport and paid for the music, they're not messing around. They're very aggressive about it.
Yeah, I've noticed some things on YouTube too, and I don't bother flagging it, but it's like I don't know if a beat sounds similar or somebody's music that we played is using like a beat from somebody, but being like, this is not a track that we played. And I'm like, whatever, I'm just cutting it out because YouTube has flagged it. So I mean, I guess the question in those cases is, are they flagging it because it shouldn't have been on there on Beatport to begin with, or are they flagging it because it's similar and
they're flagging it because you have the potential to monetize what you've done as a mix on a video on YouTube, even though they sold the music to you. They're saying that because you're monetizing that music, they're going to take it down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And whereas with like the bootlegs and stuff, they can't really control that. It's just if somebody gets a hold of an acapella and they want to make a remix or a mashup or anything like that, they can pretty much get it out there and put it in a high enough file quality that bigger name DJs will still pick it up from, either sharing it with one another directly as a promotion, or some DJs will even go into a recorded set and extract, as much of the song as they can and find a way to mix it into, their set, even though it's been ripped from another DJ's set and it's not like the full actual original track being mixed in per se. It takes a lot of really good know-how of audio engineering to do it, but it can be done.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the other thing too, is Armada's afraid of you playing most of that song in your DJ mix. Somebody can go in there and take most of that song out of your DJ mix and put it into their DJ mix and never actually pay Armada.
I see.
So I think that that's a concern of theirs. But those bootlegs, I mean, when they make it out into, the wild, they get picked up, and you'll hear them at a lot of festivals and stuff. I mean, there's a big difference in what a DJ will do on a pre-recorded mix at home that's just intended for you to like listen to, while you're working or in the car or at the gym, versus what they're going to do live on stage at a show. One of the big things about DJing is reading the crowd and knowing, like, is this song going to fly or not? I'm not 100% sure. What may sound good in the bedroom may not be appropriate for the moment when you're on stage. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to be flexible in what you're choosing to play at any given time.
That makes sense. And then with AI being able to rip vocals out of tracks via AI now, and I mean, I guess that's another way that you could strip it out of a bootleg, out of a mix. I guess that's what you're talking about as well, right? The way the Beatles stripped out the Lennon voice from the guitar on the latest track that they did or whatever, that because the AI is at the point now where you can do it and get a fairly good quality vocal, or I guess really good quality, I would imagine. I haven't tried it myself. I haven't tried to separate the tracks in a fully recorded song, but I know other people are doing it. I just don't know if the quality's there via AI. It must be if the Beatles released that song. That's what I'm thinking, though.
There's also hardware that'll do it too. There's certain mixers out there that can actually break things down into what they call stems.
Yeah.
And you can actually like take a track and just say, I want the stems of the percussion, or I want the stems of the vocals. And there's certain pieces of hardware out there that can isolate it. And then,
wow.
You just go ahead and press the record button on something like Audacity.
Right.
Yeah, I think the things with those is that like the audio quality needs to be really good, and I think that that the problem with some of the older stuff is that you get too much fuzz, and that's I think what the AI can deal with. Donnie, you know who you should talk to about this if you're curious, like for your own, like, audio engineering, you should talk to Sean Franklin about this. And
okay,
you may already do you know Sean? I mean, I'm sure you know of Sean, but
I definitely know of him, and I love his music.
Yeah,
and
so
I know I think he's a mastering engineer.
Yeah, and so my understanding is his
he does
his sort of like niche is like restoration. Like he's really good at the restoration in particular.
Okay.
And so I know though that like when we released the Awesome Dre the re-release, he had to work with what he had, and it took a while. Some of the tracks, like the initial stuff that Dre gave us, were not good enough. So he had to go on like eBay or something and like find some old versions of things.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a whole.
Find some old versions of what, of the music, or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he could.
I didn't know if you were talking about music or like equipment to replicate the missing.
Yeah, no,
like drum machines or something.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details of like which tracks and stuff like that. So
interesting. I didn't realize that.
But yeah,
there was that much work put into that re-release.
That came out. Yeah, it had to do with like him not being able to get the masters back. It was a whole big thing. But but yeah, I don't remember all the details. So but yeah. And for people that are not aware, Sean Franklin is Alex Franklin's dad. So if you've seen any of the new releases from Alex Franklin, that's kind of 2 and 2 together there. All right. Well, I've kind of got the mic here. So I was taking a look at the is it Hartshorn or Hartshorn? How do you pronounce that?
It's a little tricky. It's Hartshorn.
Hartshorn. Okay. I was looking at the Hartshorn YouTube here, and we've had some problems playing things not off of YouTube in the past. Like basically, the audio gets kind of janky. We could try it. We could be cavalier, but later if we want to. But I've got one picked out here. Looks like it's kind of visually interesting here. So we've got the track title is No More, and it's off something called well, I guess it's Rave Room Recordings, and then it's number 7. Is that like a net label, or no? I know a lot of net labels.
So I think
release things
that's
like
a compilation CD.
Okay.
So a lot of companies will put out a sort of mix of their own catalog, and they'll get a fairly well-known DJ to mix those tracks. And what I think we have here is one of his tracks being featured in one of these compilations.
All right, let's check it out.
All right.
No more sorries, no more pain, no more us for you to blame. Just our song that we let play again and again and again. I got secrets you didn't know. Our heart's so hot, but it's fragile. I don't know if you're gentle enough, if you're someone to trust. No more sorries, no more pain, no more us for you to blame. Just our song that we let play again and again and again. I got secrets you didn't know. Our heart's so hot, but it's fragile. I don't know if you're gentle enough, if you're someone to trust. To trust. No more sorries, no more pain, no more us for you to blame. Just our song that we let play again and again and again. I got secrets you didn't know. Our heart's so hot, but it's fragile. I don't know if you're gentle enough, if you're someone to trust.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's my buddy Weston. I've known him for a very long time, since, oh gosh, probably since I was like 18. So he's definitely probably one of the bigger names in music production out here in Denver. He's been all over the world. He's played in Holland, Canada. He's got a whole bunch of different tracks out. I actually talked to him in preparation for the show, and talked to him about his experience with the Creative Commons license. And he basically was the one who like educated me about like how bootlegs are done, mostly using that. And his experience has been that he does find more success when using a major label to help promote his music. I think that the resources are really good for that sort of thing, but there's also a lot of loopholes. He said that you got to make sure you're not stepping on any legal copyrights or anything like that. I guess with as far as vocals go, I think he uses a site called Fiverr, which is like a content creator site that allows you to basically meet up with other creators, artists, and get stuff made on a commission-based service. I used it to actually get my Twitch emotes for my Twitch channel made. This awesome chick that Weston actually referenced me to, who did a lot of artwork for him as well. She did it for a great deal, and I believe that there's a lot of vocalists out there, amateur vocalists who are looking to get discovered, who have professionally recorded quality of their vocals, and they want to sell them to producers who will take those vocals and make a song out of them, like what Weston does with the vast majority of his tracks. But he has also, done bootlegs and stuff. He did a remix of a famous Marshmello track, Keep It Mellow. And he's done a couple others as well. I sent you a link to his Armin van Buuren, which I think you said might have issues because of SoundCloud.
Well, so we could try to play a little bit of that. What has been a problem in the past, and we just haven't tried it in a while with Jitsi, is just that like the audio doesn't work with the tracks. But yeah, let's see what we can do here. We can experiment.
It plays audio, but the quality is low. It sounds like a really
that's
great
right.
MP3, like a 92-bit or something lower, 64-bit. So,
wow.
We haven't tried it in a while. Maybe they've improved the last time.
Yeah.
Like a year ago, I think, is the last time we gave up on it.
Well, it's 3 minutes and 10 seconds long. So people will only have to endure it for that long if that's the case. It'll sound okay for us. It's just when on the recording. All right. Cool. So let's see. Oh, here's the other thing that's the problem, is that if you share live, you can't do it. So you have to record locally in order to do it. But since we're already recording live, then I don't have a way to actually oh no, I do. I can't share video. I can share audio though. Let's try it. See what happens. There's only so this is another one of those things that there for a while they were like changing things a lot. And then we were like, what is happening this time? So but yeah, it looks like it's gonna at least let me try to do this. So can you guys see my screen?
Not.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna press this view tab and see if that. No. Okay, so it's sending me back and forth. So I can. Well, this is kind of nice. So it's sending me. If I press view tab, I can go in between the SoundCloud page and the other page. But you guys can't see it though.
No. Just
all right. Well, let's see if we can hear the audio then.
Cool.
I'm gonna press play here.
Oh yeah, the quality on that is.
All right. I gotta pause it to see if you guys can hear it.
Well, yeah, but the audio quality is.
Oh, okay. So it sounds bad too. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's what we. So yeah, we stuck with YouTube because of that. Because that sounds good.
I can actually, I think I have another example I can give you of a good bootleg that I found on YouTube. Give me 1 second to pull it up.
What'll be great is if like this show ends up being like half an hour because everything gets flagged by YouTube. So
You know, while he's searching for that, I just want to say I really like Fiverr. I've used Fiverr for some stuff. I hired a bass player to play a track in an upcoming release that came out. That I think the live bass in the track really brought it to alive. And some artwork. I started
So
using them for album covers back before, like a couple years ago, and then started exploring the musicians. And I love the idea of a producer getting their vocals that they can, for a good price, like without paying like way over the top industry prices, which you usually get hit with, right? So yeah, and then I don't know I haven't tried Skillshare yet to see how it compares or if it's also good for musicians as well for our needs, but
I've
I
heard of
was
that
thinking
one, and
about dabbling with that just to give it a test drive,
I think he's
So
used that one as well, because
cool.
that sounds familiar.
Okay.
I know I've used Fiverr personally, and that he's
Yeah.
used Fiverr as well.
I've always had a good experience so far with them. You have to do your research and make sure you're reading the reviews and everything so you don't get something sketchy, because there are definitely some sketchy people in there. But
Oh, yeah.
if you do your research, you're going to be fine. If you pay attention, look for red flags, think you're going to be fine. I've had nothing but good experiences every time. So with different aspects of what I needed at the time, whatever it was. Yeah.
Donnie, so I know you've done some work with CC Mixer as well. So
Yes.
I'm assuming that I know what the breakdown of where you might want to go to CC Mixer and why you might want to go to Fiverr. But from your point of view, why would you want to go one place versus the other?
That's a good question. When I was on CC Mixer, I was sharing my vocals for producers to remix. So I was networking from a vocals standpoint. But when I'm self-producing something, then I might go to Fiverr and work directly with the bass player. I like the idea of paying them so that I don't feel guilty on revisions, or just so that I feel like everything, instead of asking for another free favor,
Yeah.
I'd rather pay for it and make it legit. If you want to, that's the best way I could say it. So when I was uploading my vocals, then they had control over them and could do what they want with them. I wasn't asking anyone for any favors. If they want to remix it, they can. And I'm up for doing trades as well, but I just don't like the, hey, let's work for free all the time thing. That comes from some Creative Commons philosophy. Sometimes everyone expects you to like record an entire track for free and claim no rights on it, and it's gotten out of control for me, where I had to shut things down, because once people saw I was sharing my vocals for free, a million producers came at me and they were like, hey, can you do this, can you do that, can you do that, and with no pay, no trades, nothing. They just want free songs all day, every day. Of course they do. And I had to shut it down, and so I went back to just like working with producers and paying them and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it was out of control. Yeah. I like, it's fun to collaborate, but I do think that you should at least get a trade. Like if I'm going to do a vocal, let's trade a beat or something, like give me a beat, I'll give you the vocal, and then we'll do it like that. But
yeah, I mean, I think you said the key word there, collaboration. I think that's really what CC Mixer is. That's their thing. It's like a joint, it's like you have multiple authors. So if you want to be, the auteur, then you're hiring a studio musician on Fiverr, essentially,
Yes, exactly.
But CC Mixer is a totally different thing. It's
Totally
like
different.
it's like pickup bands. I don't know if you guys have ever played pickup basketball, but it's like, you go and it's just whoever's there, you're on their team. And that's kind of how CC Mixer is. I mean, but it also, like with pickup basketball, if you go to the same park all the time, it's gonna be the same dudes. Like,
that's
like, so you do see a lot of familiar faces over at CC Mixer. But if people want to get in the collaboration game and just want to make music with other people that are the masters of their craft, and then I would say definitely check that out. And I don't know if we talked about this at all on the show, but the CC and CC Mixer used to stand for Creative Commons,
right?
And it no longer does.
Sounds familiar. It sounds like a familiar issue that someone here may have had to deal with in the past.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's different. I mean, they changed their logo, which is all that we were asked to do, but they also just changed their name too. Which, I mean, I think, I don't know if the name change was completely like just the middle finger to Creative Commons as an organization, or if that was part of it, or um, I wasn't involved in any of those conversations. My suspicion is that maybe they were rebranding and they were like, well, this is a good time to kind of tell people what it is that we actually do.
Right.
And so the CC stands for Collaborative Community now.
Yeah. Which is exactly
so,
what it is. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's it's kind of a win-win on that. And like they're still using the Creative Commons licenses on the site. So it's not like, I really I don't think anything has changed except like the logo, and the name.
That's right.
And they got so many like events and things going on. Like I wish I had time to like get them more involved, but they're like always so busy that it's like it's difficult. But yeah, they do good shit over there. So
yeah, I love CC Mixter, and I just want to be clear that the problems I had didn't necessarily come from CC Mixter. It actually came when I expanded out from CC Mixter, started putting my vocals on SoundCloud and other places. That's when the problem started. But the community at CC Mixter is incredible. Everyone's very positive, very supportive. I would just highly recommend it if you're interested in collabing in Creative Commons musicians. I think it's a great place to go.
And